Hi everyone, Andrew from Wilkinson Cameras, and today we've got something a little bit different. For the first time in Wilkinson Cameras video studio history, 6 months of history, we have got a guest. Would you like to introduce yourself?
Hi there everyone, I'm Aidan from Sigma. I'm a regional sales manager for Sigma, but also a passionate photographer as well, so I actually use the kit as well as talking about it. It's really nice to be here. I think after the last year of being sat on my own at home working from home, it's lovely to be, back working together.
Wow, we haven't seen each other in a while, so it's really nice to catch up and have a look at some of the products that we have today. I don't think I've had this much photographic equipment on my desk before, so it is really quite nice. Hopefully I get to keep some of it. With today's video, we're going to be talking about Jargon, and this is some of the letters that you get before the Sigma lenses, so stuff like Sigma DC, Sigma OS, we're going to be talking about that. We're also going to have a series of videos talking about some of the lenses in more detail, but to start off, let's get rid of some of this jargon. So, DC, DG, DN.
Yeah, so when you're buying a new lens, and you're trying to work out what lens is going to fit on your camera system and things like that, it can be a bit of a minefield. So hopefully going through a little bit of that jargon and some of these abbreviations, it's going to help you out with, choosing a new lens.
Yeah.
So DC, DG and DN, what these do is they give you an idea of what camera system and what sensor size a lens is going to work on. So we'll start with DC. DC is for crop sensor cameras. So these are going to be your crop sensor, Canon, Nikon DSLRs. It might be Sony mirrorless cameras, the APS-C versions, and micro 4/3 cameras. So think of that as digital crop, so DC for that. DG lenses are designed for full frame sensors. So cameras like our Sigma FPs that we've got here, if you've got a Canon 5D, a Sony A7 series camera which has got a full frame sensor, you want to make sure that you're getting a lens which will cover that sensor. So that's where the DG lenses come in. You can of course use DG lenses on crop sensor cameras, but you can't use DC lenses on full frame cameras because it won't have the coverage for the sensor. DN is a newer abbreviation that we've got, and that stands for digital nano, and that means that it's a lens designed specifically for mirrorless. Okay. So what we saw in the early days of mirrorless was you got a lot of lenses which were designed for SLRs but adapted to go on mirrorless cameras. DN lenses are designed from the ground upwards to work on your mirrorless cameras.
I think that's really important to mention is it means that you have less separating your optics from your sensor, which means you do have more room for stuff like teleconverters. Yeah,
and I think mirrorless cameras have brought about the ability to make smaller lenses as well, and better corner sharpness and things like that. So it's great knowing that the lens that you're buying is designed specifically for that format. And of course you get DC-DN lenses, so that's for crop sensor mirrorless cameras, and then you'll get your DG-DN lenses as well. So they're the lenses designed for full frame mirrorless.
One of the next pieces of jargon is actually one that I already knew, which is OS.
That's an easy one, that one.
It is.
OS is for optical stabilization. So you see this in kind of various guises between different manufacturers. You'll get companies like Canon who have IS, image stabilization, Nikon use VR for vibration reduction. It's all very similar technology. In the lenses, it's where you've effectively got a floating element which will move to counterbalance your camera shake. So if you're using a longer lens and you've got a little bit of shake in there, that element's going to move and take that shake out of your shots. So it'll compensate for about 4.5 stops, so it'll help you get a sharper image.
And with that as well, can you use optical stabilization in the lens along with the in-body image stabilization?
Yeah, absolutely. So a lot of mirrorless cameras especially now feature in-body stabilization, and this will work in tandem with it. We do still tend to see that lens-based stabilization is more effective with your longer focal lengths, and your wider angles, less effective. So you'll see some of our lenses don't have OS, and that might be wider angle lenses, faster prime lenses where it's not really needed as much.
Yeah, because that also means that Sigma lenses do work in tandem with different camera manufacturers, which is nice to see, because obviously sometimes, lenses have been known to clash, years and years ago, but now optical stabilization will work in tandem, autofocus, stuff like that.
Yeah, so if you're using, it might be a Sony camera with real-time tracking and iFocus, it will work with all that as well. So yeah, they're designed to work with multiple camera systems.
HSM, one that I'll hold my hands up and say, I don't know what that is.
That stands for hypersonic motor, which sounds very impressive. Your hypersonic motor is effectively the motor that's driving your autofocus.
Yeah.
So it's a fast and silent focusing system. So if you're doing, it might be video autofocus, something like that, you know it's the right system for the job with it.
I know we just mentioned it, but Sigma's HSM motors then, can they keep up with stuff like Sony's real-time tracking?
Yeah, absolutely. It's what they're designed to do. So as the focusing system in cameras are getting more and more intelligent, of course your lenses do need to be keeping up with that as well. So there's constantly developments being made in the motors that are driving the focus itself.
One that we don't see as much anymore, EX.
Yeah, so EX is it's a slightly older designation now. So that was the older term for our kind of top line image quality on lenses. In 2012, Sigma went through what's called Sigma Global Vision, which was a bit of kind of rebranding and changing the kind of philosophy of the brand a little bit. And that EX designation kind of dropped off at that point. We do still see some lenses in the market today that came out prior to that, so you will still see it around for that. And again, along second-hand lenses and things like that.
Because talking of second-hand, if you're already a customer of Wilkinson cameras, you'll already know this, but we have a huge pre-owned department on our website and in stores, pre-owned perfected, where we test all of the gear extensively, and you get stuff like a warranty included as well. So what we're saying is these EX lenses, if you see that in pre-owned, you know you're getting quality.
Yeah, you're going to get brilliant image quality. And of course, with lenses, if you look after them, they should be lasting a lifetime as well.
Yeah. Macro, so this is one that a lot of photographers will already know what macro is, but if they don't, what is macro?
So macro, yeah, very popular over the last year, I think, whilst everyone's been stuck at home trying out macro photography. Macro is for lenses that focus incredibly close. So if people like doing photos of insects and little details, it's a macro lens that they're going to want for that. And we've got multiple macro lenses. We've got 105mm, a 70mm. You also see it on some of the I suppose not purely dedicated macro lenses as well. And that just lets you know that those lenses can focus incredibly close.
Yeah. One question that we did actually have on Twitter a couple of weeks ago is, can you use a macro lens for other things such as portraits?
Absolutely. Yeah, just because a lens will, focus incredibly close doesn't mean you only need to use it at that kind of, close focus. So something like the 105mm is actually a beautiful portrait lens as well. So yeah, if you're looking at macro lenses, don't feel that you just need to use it for that kind of photography.
Exactly. Moving on to the actual lenses themselves, which we will be covering in more videos. A, C and S.
So they stand for art, contemporary and sports lenses. So they're the kind of three different product lines that we've got between our lenses. Now we are going to do an individual video on each of those lenses as well.
Yeah. So I'm looking around at all these different lenses, and one thing that I want to ask myself is, what kind of mounts can we get in Sigma lenses?
Oh yeah, you're spoiled for choice with this. Most popular systems, we're making lenses that fit them. So Nikon DSLRs, Canon DSLRs, you've got Sony SLRs, Sony mirrorless cameras with the E-mounts. Sigma are of course part of the L mount, so we make lenses in our own L mount as well. So you really are sport for choice with it. The best way to check and see if a certain lens or specific lens will fit on your camera is just have a look on the Sigma website, and each product page for the different lenses will tell you what mounts they come in.
And that quickly moves me on to a question that we did have not so long ago was, will we be expecting any RF or Z mount lenses? Yeah,
there's a lot of people who are asking this question at the moment. We've recently had an interview with our CEO where he was asked the exact same question. And it's something that Sigma are very much aware of at the moment. And it's kind of under consideration at this point. Personally, I'm really hoping that we see lenses in those mounts as well, but time will tell.
And that ticks off pretty much everything you'd need to know about Sigma lens designations, I think.
Yeah, hopefully that will help you kind of cut through some of the jargon there and just give you a little bit more idea of what lens is going to work with different camera systems.
Definitely. If you liked this video, make sure you press the like button. And if you're new to the channel, make sure you press the subscribe and the bell icon so you're notified about all the new videos that we have coming up. We shall see you next time.
See you on the next video.